Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to show you everything I ate for dinner last week. Everything that you see in this video is vegan. I had originally only planned on showing you guys 5 vegan meals, but I threw in a little sneaky one at the end here, so we're going to actually have 6. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you like it so that more people can see it too, and let's get started. Okay, so the first recipe that I made last week was for a vegan shepherd's pie. I was watching a video just like this one from Sarah's Vegan Kitchen. If you haven't checked out her channel yet, I'll leave it linked down below. It's a really fun vegan cooking and food channel. She did her own version of a vegan shepherd's pie over on her channel, and I felt like I had a lot of ingredients where I could do my own too. So I wasn't working off a recipe or anything with this, and it actually turned out really well. I was pretty proud of myself. So I just had a few of these little white potatoes, so I just went ahead and chopped those all up. It definitely wasn't enough to do the whole topping, so I actually am going to do the topping out of cauliflower and potato. But to get it started, I just started out with these little yellow potatoes, chopped them all up into small pieces, and then threw them into some boiling water. I wanted to get those boiling while I continued to work on everything else. Next up, I chopped up about half of an onion and got that going in a little bit of olive oil on my frying pan. And then I had this whole huge bag of button mushrooms that I needed to eat up. A lot of these were starting to dry out, and this was probably their last usable day, and I thought it would be a good way to use them up. So I chopped up a big bag of these button mushrooms and threw them in with the onions as well after the onions had had some time to cook, because I really hate any kind of texture in a fried onion. I need them to be really soft, or I really don't like them. So I usually get those going for quite a while. I cook them pretty low and slow. And then I tossed in the mushrooms to brown up as well. Next up, I found this pasta sauce in the cupboard here at the condo that I'm staying in. I wouldn't normally buy this sauce because it did have added sugar, but I thought I might as well use it up. So I took a little bit of the sauce and I added it in with the mushrooms and the onions. And that's gonna act as the moisture to cook some lentils. So for the filling, I wanted to do a mixture of the Yves ground beef style, like fake meat product, with lentils, just to make it a little bit healthier. So I threw in that tomato sauce to be the liquid to help kind of cook up these lentils a little bit here. So I did rinse them first and then throw them into the pan with the mushrooms and the onions. And I did end up adding a little bit of water as well, just to help cook them up. And then I let those all simmer in the pan until the lentils were mostly cooked. I didn't want to cook them all the way through because red lentils cook pretty quickly, and this was going to be spending some time in the oven. So I cooked them until they were probably about 3/4 of the way done, still a little bit crunchy. So once most of the water had cooked off, I went ahead and moved all of that mushroom and lentil mixture to the side, and I just added a little bit more pasta sauce so that the mixture wouldn't burn over on that side of the pan, just for a little bit more moisture. And then this is the veggie crumble that I used. I bought a family-sized pack of these, so I've been trying to use it all up in a bunch of different recipes. I've actually used it in a bunch of different ways now, but I just broke that up. This product is already cooked, so you mostly just need to heat it up. Sometimes I like to try and brown it a little bit. Yeah, I just kind of broke that up on the other side of the pan and let it cook right along next to those lentils for a few minutes. And then I went ahead and threw in some frozen veggies as well. So I had frozen corn and frozen peas, just for a little bit of extra texture and a little bit of extra sweetness. And I stirred that all up together. The next thing I did was take this big, beautiful head of cauliflower that I had, and I chopped up all the florets and gave it a good rinse. And then I went ahead and threw that into some boiling water as well. I really wanted to boil this all the way through so that it was super soft, because I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in the blender, and I want it to be really smooth and creamy in the blender. So I really overcooked the cauliflower, you could say. At this point, the potatoes had finished boiling, so I went ahead and put them in a little bowl with some salt and pepper, and I did add a little bit of olive oil in here as well. I would have probably preferred to use some vegan butter, but I didn't have any of that, so I just used a tiny little bit of extra olive oil, and I mashed that up with a potato masher, which was pretty fun to use. I'm not staying in my house right now. I'm staying in a condo that my mom owns, so all of the cutlery and dishes and everything here is not what I would have at home. We don't have one of these at home, and it was so easy to use and I totally loved it. So I think I want to grab one of those for home. I did then go ahead and add in a little bit of almond milk as well, just to kind of make them a little bit creamier. I probably could have skipped the oil and just done the almond milk now that I think about it. And I got some nice fluffy mashed potatoes. Once the cauliflower had finished boiling, I went ahead and threw it in the blender. This is a super old blender, but it works really, really well, which is pretty cool. I added in some salt and pepper and a little bit more almond milk, and I blended that up until, like I said, it was super, super smooth and creamy. While that was blending, I did go ahead and spoon some of my filling mixture into a little glass container that could go into the oven. And then I went ahead and added a little bit more of that pasta sauce just to add a little bit more moisture to the mixture so that it would have sort of that shepherd's pie consistency. The pasta sauce I was using as a liquid and also for a little bit of flavor as well. And then I went ahead and I mixed in the pureed cauliflower with the mashed potatoes. And I poured that on top of my filling mixture. Then I took my little fork and smoothed everything out, and I tried to put some little cross hatching into the top of the mixture to make it look kind of fancy. You don't have to do that, obviously. And I actually made enough to fill up 2 of these containers. So we actually got 2 shepherd's pies out of this, which was pretty great. Then I threw that in the oven. I can't remember the temperature at the time. I'd say it was probably around 350 to 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Let the top get a little bit browned and crispy. Let those lentils finish cooking all the way through. And this is what we ended up with. Some beautiful, delicious, amazing vegan shepherd's pie. I ate mine with a little bit of ketchup on the side, of course. I was really, really happy with the way this recipe came out. Making it from scratch with just that little bit of inspo from the Sarah's Vegan Kitchen video ended up working out really, really well. It was super delicious, really filling, and it was healthy because the filling was a mixture of the lentils and the fake meat, and then the topping was a mixture of potatoes and cauliflower. So it's sort of a healthier version of vegan shepherd's pie, which was pretty cool. So on Tuesday, we spent the day out and about. We were in downtown Vancouver running some errands and doing a few different things. And one of the things that we wanted to do while we were out here in Vancouver for a couple of weeks was to hit up a bunch of sushi restaurants. Vancouver sushi is amazing. Toronto does not do sushi like Vancouver. Toronto sushi is really expensive. It's hard to find even good sushi. So in Vancouver, there's a million different sushi restaurants. It's all super cheap. Literally a kappa roll at this restaurant, Domo Sushi, that we went to was $2.75. At home, you're looking at $4 for that minimum. So we started with the wakame salad, which is seaweed and a sort of peanut buttery sauce on the side that you mix it all together. And then I got some kappamaki, which is California rolls, a veggie sushi, which had carrots, lettuce, what else was in there? Cucumber and avocado, I think. And then I got a yam tempura roll, which was yam tempura and avocado. So this was really delicious and super, super cheap. On Wednesday, we had tacos. This is one of our staple meals, something that we eat at home, usually once a week, sometimes twice a week. And I pretty much do them the same way every single time. The major difference between doing them here and doing them at home in Toronto is that at home we have a food processor, and here we didn't have that. So I had to prepare my beans in a little bit of a different way. I'll talk about that when we get there. So I started off just by chopping some onion, putting a little bit of oil and frying that up. Again, getting it nice and brown and super, super soft. And then I rinsed a whole can of kidney beans and a whole can of black beans. Rinse them really, really well, try to get as much salt off of them as possible, and then throw them in the pan with the onion. I think there was probably a little bit of garlic in there as well. And then as those are sort of heating up and cooking through a little bit, I went ahead and chopped up some red onion. I love red onion, especially in tacos. I fill my taco with red onion. It's so delicious. So I chopped up some of that. And they have really big, beautiful avocados out here right now. So cut open this big guy, chopped that all up, added it to the plate with the red onions. And then I went ahead with some more of that frozen corn that I had used earlier in my shepherd's pie recipe, and I microwaved a little bit of that. To make my beans taste sort of more Mexican, I like to add salsa into the beans while they're cooking to give them more of that taco kind of flavor instead of using like a taco seasoning. The salsa works really well for that. And then here's what I did instead of using a food processor. The potato masher worked so well for me earlier in the week that I gave it a try with the beans as well, and it worked perfectly fine. So obviously it wasn't as smooth as putting the beans in a food processor would. That's really more like a refried bean. This worked really, really well. These were the tortillas that we ended up using, just a whole wheat tortilla. I've since made this recipe again, and we used corn tortillas instead, and I warmed those up in the oven, and they got kind of like steamy, and they were so good. So I think I prefer the corn tortillas. They're way less calories as well. I had one of these ciders kicking around in the fridge, so I decided I would have a cider with my dinner, and here's me assembling my taco. So I like to take a little bit of my wrap, and then I fill it with the refried bean mixture. And then I go ahead and add on my veg, so my onion, my carrot, my avocado, and a bunch of spinach. I really like to have a lot of spinach in my tacos as well. And then I'm obsessed with Frank's hot sauce on tacos. If you have not had this, which I'm sure you all have, it's the best ever. So I don't show me adding the hot sauce to my taco because I literally add hot sauce to every single bite that I take of my taco. So I hot sauce, bite, because I just want like the most Frank's hot sauce possible in every single bite of my taco. So that's how I eat my hot sauce on my taco, and yeah, they were delicious, and they're super filling and really healthy because I'm splitting that between 2 people, so I'm eating a whole can of beans, which is like super, super healthy. On Thursday, Toronto put on a vegan night market, which was really cool. Half of it was inside in this sort of live venue / club area. They had some shopping in there, like vegan cheeses and meats, like vegan cookie dough, some vegan clothing, vegan jewelry. I'm trying to think of what else. Some vegan baked goods. All of that was inside. And then they had an outside area that was a bunch of different vegan food trucks. So it was pouring rain, which was unfortunate, but we went anyways, and we had such a good time. They actually had the bar open, which was really fun and kind of unexpected. And this was the first little bit of food that we got. I can't remember the name of this food truck. I will try and look it up and leave a link for it down in the description box down below. But we got their little sampler. So it came with 3 different dishes. There was a sort of Chinese style tofu, a bulgogi beef imitation, of course, which was my favorite dish. And there was also some cauliflower chicken wings, which they seem to have been famous for. My boyfriend who shared this with me, he thought the cauliflower was the best part. I thought the bulgogi beef was. So there was rice on one side and then salad on the other. The salad had a really nice sort of wasabi dressing on it. I don't usually like wasabi, but I thought it tasted really nice mixed in with all of these other ingredients. They had a bar with some vegan drink specials, which was really cool. And then this was the other sort of dinner item that we got to eat. So this is lick dumplings. So there were two different types of dumplings in here. One was more of like a curry Indian flavored dumpling, and one was more of a Chinese flavored dumpling. And then there was a nice sort of cabbage salad on top, and she had sprayed on some dressing on top of that cabbage salad as well. The salad was my favorite part. I didn't love the dumplings. They were pretty cold by the time we got them inside to eat them though, so maybe if they were warm, they would have been better. They seemed a little bit undercooked. I wonder if they were rushing to get them done. And then this girl had a whole vegan bakery. So this was really exciting for me because a lot of these things, like all of these croissants and cinnamon twists and stuff, I usually never get to eat these days. But I didn't actually end up getting any of those. We did get a piece of the humble cake, which was really delicious. And I got a cookie as well. So there were two different kinds of cookies, a snickerdoodle and a oatmeal chocolate chip. I got the snickerdoodle, and here is my cake. The next night I was super lazy, so I went to one of my go-to super lazy vegan meals, and that is a vegan pasta. So I just boiled up some rotini, and I used up a little bit more of that Eve's veggie crumble, fried that in a pan with some onion and garlic, threw in some of the frozen peas, the leftover pasta sauce from the recipe earlier in the week, mixed it all together, cooked it up, threw it on the pasta, quick and easy, super filling, really delicious. And it's ready like super fast. I just wanted to make something really quick and easy this night, and that was gonna be really filling as well, so this is what I ended up going with. It was pretty good, except that pasta sauce is not my favorite. Again, I don't really like pasta sauces that have added sugar, so it tasted a little bit sweet to me, but my boyfriend really liked it, and yeah, it wasn't terrible. So this is actually the bonus footage. So that was the first 5 days of the week, and this was Saturday. On Saturday, we actually ended up going out for lunch, and we had some Vietnamese food, and I had a really big tofu bowl that was pretty oily and heavy. So for dinner, I just wanted to have something really simple and kind of bland almost. So we ended up going to Whole Foods, and Whole Foods has this really nice section of prepared foods. So one of the things that I really like to get is this mushroom barley soup. So of course it is vegan, and it has enough in one container to serve 2 people. So it's actually served in the hot bar as well, but if you get it in this refrigerated section, it's actually cheaper, we figured out. So we grabbed one of those refrigerated soups ready to go, and then they have this whole wall of vegan cheeses and like dips and hummuses and all kinds of fun stuff. I ended up grabbing this brand here. This is the Spread'em. It's sort of like a vegan cheese. This one was the jalapeno flavor. This was really, really delicious. I've tried 2 of the other flavors as well. I tried the porcini and lemon and dill and something else, I think. Those are the ones I've tried. This one was my favorite of the 3 that I've tried so far. Really, really good. And then we just grabbed a baguette. They didn't have many choices for bread, so we just, went with a whole wheat baguette. And that was what we had for dinner. We had soup, bread with vegan cheese. We grabbed a hummus as well. So we were doing sort of like little baguette sandwiches. So I would put on some of the vegan cheese, some hummus, a piece of spinach, and a pickle. Dip that into my soup. Delicious, amazing, so good, so easy, and just like really simple food. Okay guys, that was everything that I had for dinner last week. I did this one a little bit differently than I've done food videos before. Like I said, I was inspired by the Sarah's Vegan Kitchen video to make this one. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps me out. It tells YouTube that you enjoyed the content and that they should show the video to more people as well. And it also tells me what kinds of videos I should make. So I do have a pretty wide variety of videos on my channel right now. I'm trying to figure out what I like making and what I want this channel to be. So if you do like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to continue to make more videos like this. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see those videos when they do come out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!